What if I told you that you could manifest fluency in absolutely any language, any number of languages, this very moment? Well, you can. You absolutely can manifest your way to fluency, and here's how. So, first of all, manifestation. Now, it's not like this magical thing that you're going to say, oh man, I'm fluent, and then bam, you're going to be fluent. But it is actually a bit simpler than it seems, and it's not so mysterious. It's not this crazy, wild, magical thing. What it means is that you are deciding that you are going to be a fluent speaker of a language. You are committing to learning your language, and you are stopping at no cost to get to your goal of speaking that language. So the biggest thing here is your mindset about who you are as a language learner, what you are capable of, and how you can achieve this no matter what. No matter how many times you have to stop, you have to adjust, you have to change course, you have to get help, add resources to whatever you need to do to achieve your goal. What manifestation is, manifesting language fluency, is that commitment that I am on my path to becoming a fluent speaker of this language. I am going to overcome my obstacles. I'm going to start with my routine. I'm going to start with my classes, and I'm going to continue. And when I feel like I'm taking my class and I start going and I'm like, oh man, I'm really frustrated, I don't want to do this, I want to quit, I am thinking about, okay, why do I feel this way right now? And what are my goals? How am I making progress toward my goals? And what do I need to do in order to overcome this obstacle, this feeling like I need to quit? Well, when we feel like we need to quit, it might be because, one, we see the path ahead of us and it's a long one. Maybe you see that it's going to take you 3 or 4 years to achieve your goals of fluency in the language you're working on, and you think, oh man, it's going to take me 3 or 4 years, I don't want to do it, it's going to take too long. Well, guess what? It's going to take even longer if you don't start now. So you think to yourself, okay, it's going to take so long, I just want to quit, I don't want to do it, maybe I'll do it later. Well, if I just start right now doing something, anything, one class, anything, I'm going to make progress toward reaching that goal. And if I wait, it's going to take even longer. So shifting that mindset about it's going to take a long time, it's going to take a lot less time if I just start and I just work on it now, and I don't spend time thinking about how long it's going to take, because that time I spend thinking is time that I could actually spend working, studying, making progress toward that goal. Now, I've been guilty of this. I worked on my Spanish degree for like five years, and I put it off about 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. It took me a long time. I took breaks, I didn't start, and it was going to take too long. So I just didn't start. Eventually I got down, I did it. Sometimes one class, sometimes a couple classes, and eventually I finished it. And it was that mindset that it's going to take too long. Oh, maybe if I do it this other way, maybe this will work better. Maybe if I just wait and then I try testing out, or maybe if I just wait and then I try studying on my own. Well, here's the thing there. Ultimately, what's going to get you progress in your learning and manifesting your way to fluency is doing something now, taking some kind of action right now, even if it is tiny. Even if it is one class and you have to take 15 of them, and you take just one and you're like, oh man, this is only a little bit, it's something, it's a step, it's chipping away at that block, making your way to fluency. So every little bit of progress is progress toward that goal. And when you start small like that, it often will compound, and you'll have the one class and you're like, okay, I can do another one now. And then you might find, oh, you know what, I can do a little bit more now. Maybe I can do like 2. Or maybe I can also add in some additional practice of my own on top of that, because let's say I don't want to commit to doing 2 classes, but I do want to do more practice. Well, I can add in working with a tutor each week, or I can add in a language partner, or however you want to have practice. Or I can read this book in Spanish or French or Chinese or Russian or whatever language you're learning, and adding in those little bits. And also, this is where you find yourself as a language learner, because learning a language isn't just learning the language, it is finding your identity as a part of that language. And so through this process, it becomes easier as you progress to manifest your way toward fluency. The hardest part is getting started and saying to yourself, I can do this, and continuing to make progress. Because once you start reaching some of your goals, some of those milestones along your way to fluency, it becomes like momentum toward your goals. And it just becomes easier to keep going. And by that same token, when you stop, it can become much more difficult to keep going. But when you keep going that way, it becomes like, and here's where the manifesting fluency becomes a little tricky to conceptualize, because in the beginning it's like, okay, I know I can do this, I know I can. You keep telling yourself, maybe you don't believe it when you tell yourself, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to practice, and you don't see the progress right away. It's the same thing. It's like maybe you don't believe it right away that you can become a fluent speaker, and you don't see the progress immediately, but you keep doing it anyway because you know that you're going to get there if you keep practicing. Well, manifesting fluency is the same way. You don't necessarily, you might not believe it in the beginning, but the more you keep practicing, the more you keep telling yourself, I'm going to get there, I'm going to be a fluent speaker of this language, the more you evolve into that. And when you do finally evolve into that fluent speaker, it's not like I didn't speak and now I do. It's a process that's so gradual that you might not even realize when it happens. You might just be practicing one day and someone comes up to you and they're like, whoa, how did you learn how to speak that well? And you're like, well, I don't know, I just have been practicing and oh, I guess I'm fluent now. So it's not a line to cross. It is a gradual progression over the years of practicing, and how many years it takes is up to you and how much time you want to commit. But the biggest obstacles in manifesting fluency are, 1, getting started, like we mentioned, and 2, each of the obstacles that come up, the mindset shifts that we have to make throughout our process, because it's constant, you know, you constantly have to remind yourself that, no, I'm doing this, I can do this. It's like, maybe when you were learning math in school and you're like, I'm not a math person, or maybe you were a math person. But here's the thing, everyone has the ability to be a math person, just like everyone has the ability to be a language person, a fluent speaker of the language. Everyone has that ability. It's just a matter of whether you access it, decide to use that or not, and commit to achieving that or not. Because when you have those blocks that come up that, like, oh, I don't understand this topic, I must be dumb, or I must just not be a language person, that's a decision that you make about yourself. And you have the option of making that decision about yourself, or figuring out a way to move past it, to go over it, to say, okay, no, I know that I can do this, I'm committed to doing this no matter what, let me figure out a way around it. And you try, doing your research, you try practicing it, looking at it from different angles. It's a grammar concept, let's say, and you just can't figure out how it works, and you rack your brain and you're just like, I don't know. Well, now you have a few options, right? You can set it aside, come back to it tomorrow, work on something else today. You can ask a tutor, someone else, language partner, someone. You can continue and go back to use any combination of those. the key is that you don't give in to I'm not capable, because you are. If you believe you're capable, you are. If you believe you're not, you're not. And everyone is capable. It's the belief that holds us back, not our abilities, because the abilities are there. It's a matter of accessing them. And as long as you believe that you are capable, all that you have to do is find a way to access that. And it might be really, really challenging. You might have really an obstacle that holds you back for a long time. You know, it might be something like that, like a grammar concept where you're like, okay, let me get some help, tutoring session, whatever, and then you overcome it. It might be something more than that. You might be really, really painfully nervous about speaking your language with other people, and that's not something that you overcome in a single tutoring session. That's something that you work on over months, over years. But again, here's the thing. You say to yourself, I am capable of overcoming this. And then you do. You don't get to choose how long it takes, exactly how it happens, but you commit to doing it and finding a way. And then you continue to practice and look for ways to move beyond that speaking confidence, that speaking anxiety, and you just keep looking until you achieve it. And that is the key to manifestation. The key to manifestation is you decide what you want, right? You have these goals and you work toward them, and you work and you work and you work and you work. And when you encounter obstacles, when you feel like you can't, when someone else says, hey, you can't do that, what are you thinking? Like, you can't learn that because maybe they didn't. And you just keep going. You say, you know what? Maybe you don't say anything to them. You just keep going and you keep finding different ways. And anyone who tries to discourage you from that, you just, find ways to go deeper into your own process, and you keep looking for whatever you need. Tutors, you find communities that are like-minded, that support you in your language learning. You surround yourself with people who have what you want, with people who are working towards similar goals, who have the interests that you have, who have the mindset that you have, and you continue to do that. You continue to improve every day, every month, every year, and eventually you get there. And that's it. That is really it. It is your mindset. You set yourself to it, and you are stubborn about achieving your goals, and eventually you get there. And that is manifesting fluency. And that's it. Alright, I will see you guys back here next Tuesday with another video and blog post. Make sure to check out that blog post if you are not looking at it already. And that's down in the description. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, how you're manifesting your way toward fluency, and any questions you have for me. And I'll see you guys back here next week. Bye, guys.